un amor vivir, llorando, y me decía, las palabras de Dios, llorando por ti. Esto un amor, un amor vivir, llorando, te atormentalo, las palabras de Dios, llorando por ti. Es con amor, ay, para allá vivir junto a ti, me enamoré allá de ti, ya sin tus besos yo no puedo vivir recordado. Ay, para allá vivir junto a ti, me enamoré allá de ti, que sin tus besos yo no puedo vivir recordado. Yo quisiera.
Could I have attention, please? I know that everybody has either just gotten or finishing their desserts, and certainly keep doing it, but I wanted to start right away because it's a fairly long evening anyway, and I know everybody's eager to go on to the party. I wanted to welcome everybody to our Saturday Night Awards banquet. We have some really great awards to have done tonight. I'm very excited about it. First thing I want to do is introduce people at the head table, which are our current council. So first, on your left and my right, from the far end, we have Nancy Welchel, who's the Associate Membership and Chapter Relations Chair. Michael Merzicki, the Associate Communications Chair. Mike Brick, the Communications Chair. Stephen Blumberg, Associate Standards Chair, who has his cell phone with him. Mary Loesch, our Standards Chair. Yeah. Scott Keeter, Counselor at Large. Nancy Mathewitz, the greatest past president I've had. And on your right and my left, starting from the end, is Dave DeRoche, the Assistant Conference Operations Chair. Linda Demetropoulos, Conference Operations Chair. Yes. Yes, don't fall off. John Boyle, Associate Secretary Treasurer. Kate Stewart, Secretary Treasurer. Patricia Moy, Associate Conference Chair. Michael Link, Conference Chair. And finally, Peter Miller, President-elect. Paul Lavrakis, our other Counselor at Large, and Adam Safar, our Membership and Chapter Relations Chair, were not able to be with us this evening. I also would like to now announce the newly elected members of Executive Council who will be serving the association during the 2009 and 2010 and 2010 and 2011. Would each of you please stand briefly as I introduce you? Kelly Foster, Associate Membership and Chapter Relations Chair. John Cohen, Associate Communications Committee Chair. No, I won't say Reg. Reg Baker, Associate Standards Committee Chair. Barbara O'Hare, Associate Secretary Treasurer. Roger Taranjo, Counselor at Large. Rob Santos, Associate Conference Chair. And Frank Newpart, who is our Vice President and President-elect, is not with us tonight because he's attending his daughter's graduation at the Golden Dome, where it's the only way he can get a ticket to the Obama events. The first presentation we're going to make is to our conference chair, Michael Link. Please come up, Mike. We've had a tradition for some time of having a beautiful framed poster of the conference program, and this is yours.
Oh, outstanding. Thank you very much.
And Michael's going to stay here because we're going to make a special presentation.
Oh, yes. Well, when I was growing up in the bars of Cincinnati trying to be a rock drummer, we used to have a saying that said, don't forget to thank the band. And all of my predecessors who have had this job before know that it doesn't take a band. This takes an orchestra to really pull this off. And I do want to very quickly go through some key people who really absolutely need to be recognized, because this really is a team, a team event. Brad Edwards, if you're around, could you stand up, please, for developing the speed networking and network sampling. Very, very successful. Mandy Shaw for taking over the book exhibits. Molly Ann Brody, Melissa Herman for organizing the short courses. Very well attended. Mike Morzicki for our new presence on social networking. John Boyle for redoing the sponsorship and underwriting. It was a task. It was a task. And Melissa Whitaker for securing this great hotel and all those behind-the-scenes things that you've helped to do. Particular thanks definitely to Linda and David for the fantastic social events that they pulled off, organizing all of the volunteers, all of the operational details. They really do have a very difficult job and really do make this all seem very seamless. So let's thank them. Also have to do just three other very special individuals. Monica Evans-Lohm, Monica in the back. Keeping me on track with what decisions needed to be made next, prompting me for the late deliveries of the text at all hours, and basically making sure that this really happened. It's been an absolute pleasure, Monica. Second person, Vince Price. Absolutely want to give kudos to Vince. Keeping me in the loop from the beginning, he really made this transition take place, and I know that Vince absolutely wanted to be here this evening, and we hope to see him back here at AAPOR very soon. Last but not least, finally, the one person here I think really exemplifies true commitment to AAPOR, who answered that phone call at 3 a.m. from the president when the phone rang. Who without a doubt has not just served as an associate conference chair, but really I view her as serving as a co-chair for this year, Patricia Moy. Patricia, if you can come up. Now Patricia, we did order a larger one, but Dick spent all of the wine money for tonight on mine, so there you go. Thank you. Thank you all very much. And see you in Chicago.
Our next award, I want Linda Dimitropoulos to come up. Linda has served on conference operations for what, at least 6 years?
7.
Seems like 10. And we want to present this plaque to you on behalf of all of AAPOR in appreciation for your countless hours of unselfish dedication and many contributions to the Betterment Association. So we all thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite our past president, Nancy Mathiewicz, up. You wanted to know where that gavel went? Oh, this is presented to Nancy Mathiewicz, past president, 2008-2009. We, the members of AAPOR, are deeply grateful and commend you for your exemplary, inspired, and determined leadership on our behalf. Unparalleled level of energy, drive, see, I need you, audacity to accomplish the fantastic. Dedication, commitment, and passion for our organization and what it stands for. Unique combination of experience, involvement, and contributions in our profession. Consistent expression of caring, responsibility, and generosity, even when under fire. Thanks so much, Nancy.
Thanks. Can I say two?
Absolutely.
So before I get all choked up, I just wanted to thank the association one last time for an incredible 3 years. It's been an incredible honor and an absolute pleasure to work with both this council and last year's council. And it's an honor I never thought I'd have, and I want to thank everyone very much. Thank you.
Next, I need to have Patricia come back up to make the Seymour Sudman Student Paper Award.
Since 1967, AAPOR has been recognizing the work of students whose contribution to our collective understanding of public opinion has been extraordinary. And in 2001, the AAPOR Student Paper Award was renamed to honor the late Seymour Sudman, who had been extremely committed to mentoring students and teaching people about public opinion. Before I present the winners with their awards, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to the 6 individuals who served on the award committee this year, all of whom have had their own work recognized while as graduate students. These 6 individuals were Paul Beatty from the National Center for Health Statistics, Leah Milani Christian from the Pew Research Center, David Dutwin from SSRS Social Science Research Solutions, Kate Kensky of the University of Arizona, Antti Pechev from RTI International, and Michael Zenos at Louisiana State University. Thank you very much. The committee this year selected 2 students to receive the Seymour Sudman Paper Award. The first award goes to Philip Brenner for his paper, Over-Reporting of Socially Desirable Behavior on Surveys, a cross-national examination of religious service attendance. The reviewers applauded Philip for making both a substantive and methodological contribution to the study of public opinion, all in a cross-national context. For those of you who attended his Thursday afternoon session, you'll certainly agree. The reviewers were extremely impressed by the breadth of his data and the analyses he's conducted. Overall, they deemed the paper very well conceived and very well written. Philip Brenner from the University of Wisconsin. Philip, where are you? Our second award goes to Brady West for a simulation study of alternative weighting class adjustments for non-response when estimating a population mean from complex sample survey data. Brady's paper addresses an important topic relevant to social surveys and polls that may use stratification, for example, the oft-cited, oft-analyzed NES data. If you attend Brady's presentation tomorrow morning, you'll see that his 30-plus simulations force us to pay more attention to weights and their effects on interpreting outcomes. The reviewers called Brady's paper thoughtful and useful, statistically sophisticated, and tightly written. Brady West from the University of Michigan receives our second award.
I knew immediately hearing that first title it would be a winner. I learned back in graduate school that if you want to get a paper published, you have to have a colon in the title. And I think there's actually some research on that. Yeah. Next, we're asking, as I mentioned, Paul Lavrakis is not here to present, but Scott has generously volunteered to present the AAPOR Book Award.
The AAPOR Book Award for 2009 is presented to Shanto Iyengar and Donald R. Kinder for the book News That Matters, Television and American Opinion, published by the University of Chicago Press in 1987. Neither Shanto nor Don could be here tonight, but let me read you the brief commendation for this piece of work. Using rigorous and creative experimental research methodologies with strong internal and external validity, News That Matters conclusively demonstrated the power of television news coverage to influence public opinion and political discourse, and has become one of the most influential books ever published on the intersection of media effects and public opinion.
Now we have a special award given the nature of the year. You know, it occurs to me that we had an election sometime in the last year, which sometimes drives us to think differently about our profession. And a few of you out there I know are probably more familiar with this than I am. Well, while the election is now behind us, we think it's appropriate, or I think it's appropriate to reflect on and recognize the diverse body of polling work that was conducted during that period. It seems that during each election cycle, people find new and innovative ways of using, presenting, and sometimes collecting polling data. For this reason, we've decided this year to issue a special award, the AAPOR Award for Memorable, if not Distinguished, Election Poll Coverage. And there is only one AAPOR member who is both memorable and distinguished enough to present this award. So please welcome, live via satellite feed from an undisclosed location in southeastern Pennsylvania, Vince Price.
Thanks, Dick. I'm very sorry I can't be there in Hollywood to join you and the rest of my AAPOR colleagues. But this is commencement weekend here at Penn, and we have a number of official duties keeping me here. So I'm particularly delighted to have this opportunity to be with you electronically and to present AAPOR's first award for memorable, if not distinguished, election poll reporting. When our AAPOR program committee met here in Philadelphia this past December, just about the time I was handing over the reins of the conference to Michael Link, we had an understanding that I would also not have to chair this awards committee. Sadly, with all the important work to be done, a miscommunication meant that I would have the honor of handling this new award. So I drew up a list with an absolute dream team to help select this year's honoree. Peter Miller of Northwestern, Kathy Frankovic of CBS, Mike Traugott of Michigan, Tom Smith of NORC, and Nancy Belden of Belden, Rusinello, and Stewart. Although I later found out that the list was misplaced and none of this august group was ever actually contacted, I'd still like to thank them for their appearance on the committee list. With the help of a grad student and a few undergraduate work-study students, we pursued a vigorous search for outstanding news coverage of election polls. We knew we had to work fast since there was a good chance that by spring, many of the news media companies in competition for this award might no longer exist. We used an innovative means of reaching out for nominees, using electronic social network marketing and Facebook. The result was a collection of over 1,500 outstanding nominees. Now, for reasons that we're still pondering, 1,487 of these were of high school and college newspapers or student blogs, and a fair number included not only election poll coverage, but also helpful hints about pets, personal reflections on the election, and pool covers. But we nonetheless were left with a handful of truly deserving nominees, and we all agreed that one of these stood out clearly among the rest as perfectly suited to this year's AAPOR Award for memorable, if not distinguished, election poll reporting. Our winner, election correspondent Andrew Swanson of the Onion News Network, made very effective use of a sophisticated poll tracker system to help ordinary Americans understand the complex patterns underlying campaign dynamics. Here we will present to you Mr. Swanson's award-winning piece from the Onion News Network's Command Center, part of the network's War for the White House series.
Just completed the latest Onion News Network tracking poll in the 2008 presidential race. So let's get right to election correspondent Andrew Swanson, now live in the War for the White House Command Center.
It's good to see you, Andrea.
Great to see you. A lot of data to sift through here. What do these numbers tell us?
Well, it looks like the race is really going to come down to which candidate can woo the 430 crucial voting blocks that will be casting their ballots this November.
What are all the factors you're looking at? Age, sex, gender, race, education?
That's right, Andrea. There's also religion, soda preference, drug use, body mass index, number of tattoos, size of television screens, and favorite non-sports pastimes. Of course, the big news this morning is over the battle over the Dunkin' Donuts independents.
Oh, that's right.
That is, yes, the working class swing voters who make under $60,000 a year. McCain was able to gain 3 points with them just this week.
Wow.
You know, time and time again, if we look back, we have seen how they influence the Dinty Moore dads, men with multiple illegitimate children who eat single-serving microwavable meals for dinner.
And this is Obama's weak area right now.
That is right. That, and of course, the Corolla in-laws, what the Democrats are losing there, they're rapidly picking up with dental office receptionists who plan on going back to school to get their real estate degree someday.
Right. Now, the Democrats have got a lock on those urban groups like corduroy-wearing homosexuals and people who eat artisanal sandwiches, right?
Yes, that would be a lock.
Okay, let's talk about the 28% of necktie Asians living above frozen yogurt shops. I mean, they're urban, but technically they have more in common with underemployed mathematicians and farmhouse-dwelling self-publishing mystery novel authors, right?
Yes, that is true, Andrea. I think with them it'll come down to, are they going to vote with their wallets, or are they going to vote with their conscience? We're also seeing a lot of young people getting involved this year, including the Lost-watching roommates, the Wes Anderson dipshits, and the Facebook masturbators. Those are very strongly pro-Obama.
Now, what about the employees of the Reagan's Idaho, Washington Mutual, and Mark Street who have crushes on that girl Amy who works at the Wendy's next door demographic? We've been hearing a lot about them.
Yes, Andrea. Well, Josh and Todd have both been polling in favor of Obama, but there is speculation that those figures are off since Amy is also for Obama.
That's
so
right.
They may be saying that just to impress her. Once they get in the voting booth, we think they'll go towards McCain, actually, because they're also strongly influenced by the stoner friend Leo demographic, who will drive them to the polls that day.
So I think we're looking at a win for McCain there.
Yes.
Andrew, thanks so much for being with us and clearing some of this up for us. It's certainly going to be a fascinating race to watch.
Great. We'll see you again. Thanks, Andrea.
All right, you take care. Next up, scientists are predicting a large asteroid movie will hit theaters in the next 2 to 3 years.
So, and you all thought that, you know, Mark Blumenthal was the mystery pollster. Okay. We want to thank The Onion for providing that video. Vince had actually been talking to The Onion about our co-producing a video for this conference, and we were able to work out an arrangement between Vince and Michael and I, and we're really pleased to have presented it. Moving on to we have some other special awards that are even funnier. No, no, we don't. We have, I want Nancy Mathewitz to come up, and we want to present some awards.
Well, following on the heels of talking about the election, I think we can all kind of remember January 2008, a little hiccup for our profession in that lovely state of New Hampshire. And in response to that, you know that the council voted to form an ad hoc committee to look into an evaluation of the methodology of the 2008 pre-election primary polls. We want to take a moment tonight to recognize the members of that committee. And while I'm naming the names of that committee, could I ask that Mike Trogut, Courtney Kennedy, and Lois Timms-Ferrara please walk up to the podium. And I want to acknowledge all of the members of that ad hoc committee. I know at times there has been some media coverage of criticism of the work of that committee. Why did it take so long? But if you come to our exciting session, last session tomorrow morning, you can hear all about the work of that committee and why it took so long to compile those results. So I'd like to identify the members of the ad hoc committee. If they're here, please stand up for your acknowledgement. Glenn Bolger, Darren Davis, Charles Franklin, the ever-absent Robert M. Groves, Paul Lavrakis, Mark Melman, Phil Meyer, Kristen Olson, Ann Seltzer, Mike Trogut, and last but not least, Chris Flasian. Thank you very much for your service to the organization. And then I want to recognize three people without whose extraordinary efforts over the past 15 to 18 months we would have never produced the report that happened. First, the chair of the ad hoc committee, Mike Trogut. And so, let me read what the inscription on Mike's plaque says. Michael Trogut, in recognition of your exceptional service to AAPOR and the profession as chair, ad hoc committee on the 2008 presidential primary polling. Thanks, Mike. Probably not quite as visible as Mike with the press releases and that are the two other people I want to honor tonight. First of all, Courtney Kennedy. Behind the scenes, Courtney compiled data from 31 polling organizations, organized it, kept Mike on task, and probably did most of the statistical analysis. Courtney's award says, on behalf of AAPOR, Courtney Kennedy is hereby awarded the special recognition for her exceptional service to the ad hoc committee on the 2008 presidential primary polling. Thanks, Courtney. And then one of the commitments that was made at the time we formed the ad hoc committee was that all of the materials, whether it was the microdata, the questionnaires, all of the disclosure that was provided by all of the organizations would be archived and open up to any scholar who wanted to have their own examination to further investigate what happened with respect to both New Hampshire as well as other primary polls. And so for the work that she has done with respect to the arduous task of archiving these in an orderly fashion so that future researchers can look at this, AAPOR wishes to recognize and honor Lois Timms-Ferrara. On behalf of AAPOR, Lois is hereby awarded the special recognition for her exceptional service to the ad hoc committee on the 2008 presidential primary poll. So we have an interesting session tomorrow morning. I know it's the last session of the day, but if you want to learn more about the work of the committee, come join us. Thank you.
We have another special committee we had this year. We had this, some of you have heard this, we had a special committee to evaluate AAPOR's management needs. We changed the title back and forth depending on whether Scott and I were talking about it, but it was the same committee. I would like to bring Scott Keeter up for a special award. Scott, I'd like you to mention the other members of the committee, and then we'll present your award.
That's a lot of pressure at this time.
Oh, you want me to?
It was a fabulous committee. It was the sort of the all-star lineup, and it included Nancy Mathewitz and several former presidents, including Mark Schulman, Nancy Belden, Diane Colasanto, our incoming president, Peter Miller, Cliff Zukin. Am I missing a president? Don't think so. And Donna Gillen, who was a consultant to the committee and a wonderful person staffing the committee. And I sure hope I didn't leave anybody off. Okay, thank you.
This is to Scott Keeter in recognition of your exceptional service to AAPOR as chair, special committee to evaluate AAPOR's association management needs. And we are making an award as well to Donna Gillen, who's not here tonight.
Yeah, Donna couldn't come.
And on behalf of AAPOR, Donna Gillen is hereby awarded this special recognition for outstanding service to the committee. This committee was, we all believe, is very important to AAPOR, and we really appreciate your leadership and the efforts of the entire committee.
Thank you. Yeah.
I should have let you put your plaque down and come back up. Scott is the chair as well of the Warren Matovsky Innovators Award, and you're ready to make an award
Thank
tonight.
you. The members of our committee are listed in the program, as well as the Book Award Committee, which I failed to mention. But we had an embarrassment of riches this year and are pleased to be able to make 2 awards tonight. And I'll do them separately just to give a good honor to each. The first of the 2 is to Vasha Veyavar and Katja Lozar Manfreda for their work in creating and fostering the Web SM portal. So if Katja, who is here, could come up, please. So the commendation on the plaque reads as follows. WebSM is the profession's most useful and comprehensive information source on web surveys, serving as a portal that brings together survey researchers around the world who are seeking to understand and use the internet as a technology for data collection. But the committee also wanted to note that what they've done is more than to provide a web of information, but also to help build a community of people who are interested in this. And so congratulations, Katja.
Thank you. I just want to thank some people who helped us in developing this web portal. Some of them are here. When we got the European Union grant, we collaborated with colleagues from Sweden, Germany, and Italy, and some of them are here. As I said, I want to thank Lars, Gosta, and Wolfgang. I think they're here. Please take this award also as your award. And I also want to thank some colleagues and friends who have supported us all these years. Mario, Mig, Don, I know you are one of the biggest fans of ours and biggest promoters, so thank you very much. And of course, thank you to AAPOR for this award. We will take it as an encouragement to continue our work. Thank you.
And the second award for their work in providing the field of survey research with timely data on changing telephony patterns in the United States, Stephen J. Blumberg, Julian V. Luke, and Marcy L. Cinnamon. Would you all come up? So the song was, you think this song is about you, you think this conference is about you. There's a lot of that. The commendation for this award reads as follows. Blumberg, Luke, and Cinnamon were key advocates for measuring the growth of wireless telephone use in the NHIS. Their work has provided the survey research community with timely and reliable estimates of the size of the characteristics and of the wireless-only population, but the committee wanted especially to note the word timely in this, which for a government survey is not often used in the same sentence. And the fact that we have these data so quickly to be able to use them in our own weighting is especially appreciated by the profession, and that is an innovation. So congratulations to you. Stevie? Thank you.
Well, thank you, Scott. Thank you also to the rest of the awards committee for this great honor. Julian, Marcy, and I want to especially thank the committee for recognizing in its citation the role of the National Center for Health Statistics. The agency has really enthusiastically supported our efforts to produce the best possible wireless substitution estimates, despite the lack of funding of any external nature for this work. It's been said that innovation is not always the creation of something new, but sometimes it's just the rearranging of something old in a new way. And indeed, the use of NCHS surveys to understand telephone coverage in the United States is not something new. It was originally instigated by two outstanding survey researchers who are no longer with us and whom unfortunately I have never had a chance to meet, but I'm sure that several of you recognize their names and perhaps were even friends with them. Tonight we want to acknowledge Owen Thornberry and Jim Massey for leading the way and for their vision. Finally, we want to thank the AAPOR membership. It was Thomas Jefferson, the founder of my alma mater, who once said that great innovations should not be forced on others. And AAPOR members could have chosen to ignore our numbers or to have downplayed their significance. Instead, you have expanded the science of survey research by launching countless important projects to identify the best ways to conduct high-quality surveys in the age of cell phones. And we want to thank you for rising to that challenge. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And my next presentation is to Molly Ann Brody. Please come up. This award is, I want to read this award, Molly Ann. Molly Ann, of course, has been chairing the Education Committee for the last couple of years. Has told us today that she'll continue to be involved with the committee on the journalist education, but we're really very appreciative of her service. A quote that Nancy Mathewitz gave me, which I thought was particularly astute, is a teacher affects eternity. She can never tell where her influence stops. This is by Henry Adams. So in grateful recognition of your years of exemplary service to AAPOR as chair of the Education Committee, we make this award to you, Molly Ann. At a time, it's time for something we've only done, I think, for the last year or so, we've had memorial services, but at this time, I want to take a few minutes to honor the memory of some of our members, most of them longtime members who have slipped the bonds of this earth since our gathering in New Orleans last year. Please join me a few moments in recalling and celebrating their lives and their respective impacts on our profession, which are considerable. First, Leo Crespi. An honorary life member, Leo was an early pioneer in international public opinion research. He received his PhD from Princeton University in 1940 in comparative psychology. After pestering lab mice and teaching at Princeton for 8 years, he was headed to the University of North Carolina, when instead he abruptly was lured to Europe to lead the US government's program of surveying European public opinion from his base in post-war Germany. During that time, he was elected the 5th president of AAPOR. He returned to Washington in 1954 to head the United States Information Agency's worldwide program of opinion surveys. Leo directed regular multi-country surveys abroad, and in 1962, he received the Superior Service Award from USIA Director Edward R. Murrow for his unique and original contribution to the conduct of United States foreign information activities by his pioneering use of surveys. Much that we take for granted today in international polling rests on the intellectual and institutional foundation of which Leo was a major architect. It resulted in no small measure from his imagination, perseverance, and savvy. He was esteemed by his colleagues for his integrity, good humor, and sense of purpose. Leo was an eloquent speaker with a powerful voice and he was also a generous mentor. He was on his way to ballroom dancing session when he had a stroke at age 91. Eve Fielder. As an adolescent, Eve had to fend for herself on the streets of Manhattan. It was during this time that she began her survey research career as a coding supervisor for Eric Marder Research Associates in Audits and Surveys. She moved to Los Angeles in 1966, where she worked as a project supervisor for the Behavior Science Corporation, Hogue Associates, Inc. In 1972, the late Leo Reeder appointed her to supervise survey operations in the UCLA Survey Research Center. In 1976, when SRC was incorporated into the Institute for Social Science Research, Eve was named SRC's first director and subsequently served under 3 ISSR directors, the late Howard Freeman, Marilyn Brewer, and David Sears. In contrast to many of us, Dr. Fielder established her career as an expert in the design, administration, and data processing of questionnaires and surveys before she began her formal education, although she ultimately received a Doctor of Public Health degree from UCLA in 1991. In 1977, she conducted one of the first computer-assisted telephone interviewing CADI surveys, and over her career, Eve managed over 1,000 academic survey research projects, covering a broad range of topics and utilizing all available survey methodologies. She also served as a mentor for many younger non-faculty professional women at UCLA. In her mentoring and her consultations with less experienced clients, she perpetually emphasized the importance of the details of the process for the work being done. The priority and joy for her was in the project at hand, and it thrilled her when others felt the same passion of discovery and master. Ingrid Graff. Ingrid, who died far too young, as you can see, earned an MBA at the University of Illinois in Chicago, a master's degree in sociology from Loyola University, and a bachelor's degree in English from Oberlin College, and was assistant director for research planning in the Survey Research Laboratory at the University of Illinois, Chicago. Before joining UIC, she worked in human services to children, beginning as a child welfare specialist for the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services, and later became a consultant to the department for a project projecting benefits for disabled children. Earlier, she did field research for the Transitional Living Program for the homeless youth in Washington, D.C. Her colleagues throughout praised her energy and expertise, noting that she published often in social science journals and often made conference presentations on research methods to address homelessness, substance abuse, and child welfare. She worked on countless projects with many of the staff and faculty at the College of Urban Planning and Public Affairs and elsewhere on the UIC campus, and was uniformly loved by all. Arthur Miller. Arthur received his PhD from the University of Michigan in 1971. He briefly served as assistant professor at the Ohio State University before returning to Michigan in 1973. He was associate professor of political science and senior study director at the Center for Political Studies at the Institute for Social Research at Michigan from 1976 to 1984. He became director of the American National Election Studies, much of what you've heard about even in this conference today, which is widely regarded as a premier school in public opinion research among political scientists. He joined the political science department at the University of Iowa in 1985 and served as director of the Laboratory for Political Research, later renamed the University of Iowa Social Science Institute, where he promoted the reputation of the University of Iowa through the organization what are called the Heartland Polls, and as director of the University of Iowa International Evaluation Project, which conducted the first organized public opinion polling in the Soviet Union as that confederation crumbled in the 1990s. Arthur had a special talent for recognizing area work just as it was ready to take off, including his early work on political trust, his application of political psychology to the study of presidential candidates, and studies of the impact of social groups on voting. At the time of his death, he was among the 100 most cited political scientists in the world, as his articles on American politics led to equally important contributions to understanding political behavior in countries in Western and Eastern Europe. Lorna Opatov. An honorary life member, Lorna was a pioneering businesswoman in market research, packaging, and design. She earned a BA from the University of Pennsylvania in 1952, where she attended the Wharton School of Business before Wharton conferred degrees on women, and earned an MBA in industrial psychology from Temple University. Early in her career, she was research director for Hearst Magazines, then founded Opatov Associates, a nationally known market research firm, in 1963. Her clients included many major corporations. She was a past president and a Hall of Fame member of the Market Research Council, past president and honorary life member of the New York chapter of AAPOR, and past president of the International Furniture and Design Association. She served on the boards of and had major initiatives for Advertising Research Foundation, the New York American Marketing Association, and Institute of Packaging Professionals. She was named Consumer Affairs Professional Member of the Year. Lorna loved to travel, and in the past year had been to Guatemala, Germany, France, and Italy. She was a passionate lover of the arts, especially opera. It was known to keep a schedule that had her in theaters almost every night. She will be remembered for her dry wit, her good counsel, her caring concern for friends and family, and her enthusiasm to live life fully. And Harry O'Neill. I realize I violated the alphabetical order, but an honorary life member, an AAPOR honorary life member, Harry received the 1997 award for outstanding achievement from the New York chapter of AAPOR and the AAPOR Award for Exceptionally Distinguished Service in 2007, just 2 years ago. Harry loved AAPOR, attended all sessions, participated in many, volunteered, and was always visible at our annual meetings. In 2001, Harry was honored by CASRO's annual conference and received CASRO's Hall of Honor Award for Lifetime Achievement. In addition, he was given a gold star from CASRO for 20 years of perfect attendance at CASRO's annual conferences. He might have earned ours if we had such an award. Harry has also been honored for his service to the industry and to the research profession by many other research associations, including the Market Research Council, American Marketing Association, National Council on Political Polls. In addition, he was served as a member of the boards of these associations and was former chairman of MRC and CPP and the Research Industry Coalition. With all his honors, Harry was a modest and unpretentious man, dedicated to his family, friends, and his work. That being said, Harry stood out, no matter how large the room and how noisy and busy the crowd. He would have been very comfortable here tonight. Harry made a lasting impression on everyone he met and will forever be remembered as a consummate professional leader who loved the research industry, as a man of character who was a unique character. It is Harry himself we will remember with great affection, reminisce about, and miss. And it is Harry O'Neill's professional dedication and legacy of lasting contributions to the industry that we will honor and carry forward.
Be ethical. This is a business in which it's very easy to have an unsophisticated client that doesn't know what you're doing, and you can do things that you shouldn't do in terms of sampling and wording and so forth. You have to not let your biases enter. You have to consciously work on that. And I think it's too easy to be unethical in our business or our profession. And I think you should strive to be professional as you can, which means be totally above board, totally ethical in everything you do, and not hide a thing. Answer all questions honestly. Deal with the media in an honest fashion. Everything should be ethical and above board. That's my basic message.
As usual, Harry has the last word. We will miss these members, all of them, send our best wishes to their family, friends, and colleagues. We're now ready for the AAPOR Award. The AAPOR Lifetime Award for Distinguished Achievement. Here are the past winners, starting with the Julian Woodward Award. While those go on the thing, I want to thank the committee, the AAPOR Award Committee, which consisted of Sandy Berry, Kathy Frankovic, Bob Groves, Rob Santos, Mark Schulman, and Cliff Sukin. And we know that Kathy Frankovic received the award last year. So we're now ready to present the 2009 award.
So I called up the procurement department and I said, we have a contractor and you know, she hasn't gotten paid yet. And she's asked me what's going on. And the woman said, oh, that's a provision of the Prompt Payment Act. She can't get paid for 60 days.
Since earning her doctorate in sociology in 1974, Betsy Martin has been making surveys better, most recently at the Census Bureau.
I came in as the chief of the Center for Survey Methods Research. I was hired by Barbara Baylor, and I had gotten to know her on the panel on surveying subjective phenomena, and she hired me to come in and head up this little group of survey methodologists and survey researchers. But I had never worked for the federal government before at all, and so it was really kind of a bit of a culture shock to come into.
Betsy's approaches to improving survey methodology include weaving ethnography and consistent pretesting into the U.S. Census, an expansive yet constrained laboratory for survey experimentation.
One of the limitations is, say the census itself is every 10 years. And the Census Bureau is always very cautious about implementing something that hasn't been tried. And so you may come up with a really good idea one census and fight to get it in, and it doesn't get in till the next one. So you have to have a long lead time.
In her trailblazing time at Census, one of her favorite projects addressed undercounts of the homeless in major cities, a project with unique challenges and opportunities.
I was out with these two homeless men who were enumerators, and who were really quite interesting fellows, you know, and one of them would introduce himself to every group we approached. He would say something like, "Hello, I'm Ralph Moody from the Census Department, and these are my colleagues," and he would point to me.
One of Betsy's less well-known skill sets lies in her field work, the infield to be exact. Faced with choosing second base or a more demanding career path, she opted for intellectual pursuits.
And it very quickly got into survey research because I got a job from Howard Schuman for quarter time for May for the Detroit area study. And he had me working on retrieving materials documenting old surveys that were going to be replicated in a study of social change that he and Dudley Duncan were doing. And so I got involved in that, and I just kept being involved in survey stuff, and I became a Detroit area study teaching fellow, which was the path to survey research for a lot of people.
Betsy was not the first nor the last scholar to find academia a poor fit, so professional meetings were an oasis.
AAPOR was a very important outlet to me at that time. You know, I have other friends, you know, AAPOR members who had similar experiences where it was really kind of painful being in an academic setting. And AAPOR was a very important place where they were interested in survey methodology and survey research. And they were valuing what I could do and what I was interested in. And they were colleagues, and it was quite important to me to have AAPOR as a place to go to. I mean, it was fun also, but it felt like a kind of a home, especially during that period when I felt really out of place in academia.
So 27 years later, after finding the right fit, time to take the plunge.
My husband and I got involved in various sort of environmental things. You know, we moved next to our creek here, and we've gotten more and more interested in improving the water quality. We have rain barrels, you know, that capture the runoff and sort of contain it and then release it slowly. And I have a rain garden. And I've gotten rid of lawn pretty much, so we have less mowing. So I've gotten very into that.
Betsy's now a certified Virginia Master Naturalist. But that doesn't prevent her from doing heavy construction work with the grandkids from time to time. Maybe they'll just stay put and enjoy.
You know, our friends live in the area. We like our neighborhood. We love our creek. You know, we can canoe down to the Potomac. You know, life is interesting here. Life is pretty pleasant. So.
Betsy, Paul, may your runoff be light on the shores of Little Hunting Creek.
I'm afraid you have to come up and get your award, Betsy. me read the description of the award, and then I'll give her the hardware. Elizabeth Martin's intellect and perseverance in the pursuit of survey quality has been enormous, and her impact on the field of survey methodology, both within the U.S. Census Bureau and elsewhere, are legion, long-lasting, and profound. Her election as the first government employee to serve as AAPOR's president reflects the broad impact of her leadership and ideas throughout our profession. She revolutionized questionnaire development and testing at the Census Bureau by promoting rigorous research, evaluation, and testing, while also consistently championing the comprehensive use of social science methods to improve the quality of data collected in censuses and surveys. We're pleased to present you the award for your lifetime of work.
Thank you.
Great video. Great video.
I thank you so much for this. I'm very touched and I was very surprised. And as I said in the piece, AAPOR always was kind of like a home to me, and very supportive even during periods when I was struggling. And I hope it continues to be that for young professionals. I think that's so important. Thank you all. Thank you, Council.
That is our evening. I want to thank you all for coming. We think this has been a great conference, and we've enjoyed having every one of you here. We hope you've enjoyed the conference, including the hotel, the program, and all of the camaraderie of people throughout the association. And we hope you'll join us next year in Chicago. It won't have a beach, but at least not this beach. It does have, yes, it does have the Lake Michigan beach. It won't have the Atlantic beach. Yeah. Now we're shortly after this, we end here. There will be a post-banquet party in the Great Hall foyer, which is up where the outside where the exhibits were, which was mentioned earlier. And I want to remind people that going to the party, be sure to register for the lottery to win the free Wii thing. But I'm also told that you must stay to win. You can't drive by for 5 minutes and enter the lottery and go on the 10th. And speaking of probability, the applied probability will convene in room 303 at the same time soon after we end here. Have a great evening, and be sure to join us next year on Michigan Avenue in Chicago.